Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion, Blaze of Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus, rebuilding, and might I remind you, Eden's Blessing. Well, I wouldn't say it turned out too badly. WRQ0CWEC, which is the sound I made. I know I made that joke last time, but it's the sound I made when I saw that we have an 18 rate of fire, which is, I mean, just awful. I can make it. On the bright side, fruitcake. Yo, on the bright side, Epic Fetus. An item that, there's 20 different things I want to say right now. It's a great item. There's one. It wins us the run, probably. There's two. It's one of the only items in the game you would expect to basically win you a run by itself. And moreover, completely nullifies any problems we have with our rate of fire, because every single shot that comes down is gonna, reap destruction on our foes. Plus, it synergizes with fruitcake, which I wasn't gonna mention, because I didn't know that actually happened. But when it works, it works. We'd still like to improve our rate of fire, just for enemies that survive longer than a single hit, but, I mean, dude. We're crushing it right now. And this is a perfect opportunity to get revenge on Champion Ragman, who just got bodied. Now, does this change my opinion of Champion Ragman? Oh, does he still need to be nerfed? Like, in my opinion, yeah, because, I mean, we rolled a 100-sided dice and got a 69, aka the optimal number. You can't do that with regularity. So I'm not gonna sit back and suggest that everything's, fine and dandy with this boss to begin with. I'm just gonna say, for right now, obviously we're happy with where we stand. I was fishing for a secret room in a couple of different places there. Didn't get it. Very happy to have Cricket's head, though, and we're, trending towards another pretty easy win. So far, so good. No complaints. No complaints except the lack of a spirit heart. But even then, we have invincibility. We don't have much invincibility, but we have the ability to, on a room like this, where we're like, okay, enemies are quick and they could rush us down. Easy clap, we got them. I gotta say, we're in the, when people said it's the most wonderful time of the year, they weren't joking. It's the holiday season. Trying to reverse engineer my backlog here while I'm talking, and I'm like, I think we got 3 or 4 days of backlog, so you're probably right around the vaunted Christmas Day if that's a holiday you've chosen to celebrate. I think we're happy with what we have. We don't want to mess up with our trinket situation here. I'll forward engineer the backlog for you. Today's the 21st in the real world, which is not an insult to the backlog. It's an insult to Australia specifically. It's not the 22nd, okay? I'm sorry to tell you. The rest of the world got together. We all decided on a single time zone, and we decided on PST. Look, was I biased in the negotiation process? Yes, but we got the votes we needed. Enjoy going to work when it's pitch black outside. I don't know where I'm going with this joke. Immediately, Dark Bum feels like such a good pickup. Anyway, I'm glad there's not one time zone on Earth. Because statistically, how many time zones are there right now? There's got to be I don't know if there's 24. There could be less than 24, because I know that China is all on a single time zone. And there could be more than 24, because I know Newfoundland's got that goofy half an hour time zone difference. In my head, I'm always like, it would be better if we got rid of time zones, because then I would never be confused. If you got a call with a company at 9 a.m., you don't have to think, wait a minute, is that noon my time? Is that 6 a.m. my time? But it turns out that stuff's pretty easy. You just show up late and then apologize. Oh, sorry, am I 6 hours late? I had the time zones backwards as usual. Silly me. You weren't waiting, were you? Might as well walk in here. But I think if it was a single time zone, you know, you solve a small problem, you create a much larger one. But I will say, I don't like the argument being applied in the same way for daylight savings. I really do dislike daylight savings time. I know for a fact that if we had a referendum to get rid of daylight savings time, at least in British Columbia, it would lose. Daylight savings time would stick around. So I'm happy we're not pulling the trigger on that vote yet. Let's wait until my generation becomes a little bit more, you know, of the zeitgeist. We just had a referendum about proportional representation. Every person that I talked to that was in my age demographics was like, dude, I can't wait to see proportional representation. Lost by an impressive margin, 60-40. Oh, it's 2 items. That's right, it's not a choice. I gotta say, it stings for me. I just want to see if we have a synergy. It stings for me because this is the second time I have voted in a referendum for proportional representation. The first time was in 2007 or 2006, I can't remember, but it was one of the two in Ontario. It lost then, and it blew my mind. I was like, how could this have lost when everybody I've spoken to agreed with me that it's a great idea? And then it lost 12 years later in British Columbia as well. I happily voted, I'll tell you my political beliefs on this one. I voted in favor of proportional representation. Why? Well, I mean, first off, philosophically, I agree with it. Secondly, I live in a city. When you live in a city, proportional representation usually means you end up getting more representation. You know, you ever look at, like, the Electoral College map and you're like, you know, this one little pinprick on the map has more people than that enormous rectangle over there. This is an attempt to, you know, balance that to some extent. But it lost, and so be it. I, you know, very quietly contemplative about that. Regardless, though, life goes on. So I'm happy we're not pulling the trigger on daylight savings, because, you know, once you get one referendum, you know, you better make sure that that's the result you want. And I'm not trying to echo any real-life events right now. I'm just saying there's no do-overs. Go for it. Let's go. But the argument people always use for daylight savings is like, I don't want my kids going to school in the dark. You know what? It's a dark world out there, hombre. Might as well get used to it early. I don't know. I don't know if that's the message I want to send to my audience. You know? Yeah, bro, the world's cold. Sooner they find out, the better. No, it's more like, is it okay for children to go to school in darkness for 90 days so that I don't have to lose 1 hour of sleep one night a year? Yeah. Yeah, I would say that if you weigh the positives and the negatives there, specifically, those probably just about equal out. Look, I'm not afraid to vote in my self-interest on petty things. These are trinkets. On issues that matter, I take a more, you know, nuanced approach to it. But on stuff that is very petty, I'm like, yeah, but if I could find a way to vote for myself to get an extra hour of sleep a night, and all that it would require is for like 10 people elsewhere in the world to push a button, I would be like, dude, I'm sorry, 10 people elsewhere in the world. You got a new chore, and I'm sleeping easy. When it comes to real issues, not so much. Unless you consider an hour of sleep a night a real issue, in which case, I don't know, maybe I want to be part of your political party. Anyway, when I said it's the most wonderful time of the year, I wanted to bring up for two reasons. Well, the one reason is the, you know, the Yuletide reason. It's obvious, you know, friends and families and gifts and raindrops and roses and whiskers on kittens, etc., etc. The other one is, as an adult, it's the Friday before Christmas. Everybody is having their last day of work. What does that mean? No important emails, phone calls, correspondence of any sort will be arriving. No letters, no emails. See, I'm doing it's the reindeer chant now. No letters, no emails, no Excel or Quicken. No PayPal. No Gmail. And, you know, Donner and Blitzen. Whatever. You get the idea. It's a nice time. Everybody's, you know, if you work retail, maybe not so much. Because, you know, you got to deal with the hordes. But for people that are working in, like, an office, largely is going to be a lot of time off. Which means, and, you know, I have sympathy if you're working retail. I'm not crapping down the neck of the everyman. I'm just saying, you know, it's nice. Because every time, and not everybody experiences this, I'm sure. Every time I answer a phone call, every time I... Alright, I had a little burp there. Every time I open my mailbox, every time I... Well, email's different, but... For those other two, I get a little twinge of anxiety, and I'm like, this could be important, and then I pick it up, and it's usually a robot yelling at me in Mandarin Chinese, and I go, oh, thank God, it's just a scam. Or I immediately need to report to the Canadian consulate. We'll try the pill, but I'm happy with Unicorn Horn, even though we're not really doing much with it. But it's nice to know that, you know, we kind of got like a week or so free of that. That's another value of the holidays you don't consider when you're younger. Is that the best part of the holidays? No. Best part of the holidays is festive foods. Turkeys and hams and eggnog and cake and Handmaid's Tale and Oryx and Crake and... Sorry, not everything has to rhyme in this episode. Why not? And dude, I don't really know what to say for where we are in this episode. I mean, everything's going well. We have epic fetus. I usually feel bad about it. You know, I hit this point with epic fetus where I'm like, I actually feel the need to apologize for my relative level of success on this run. But, you know, no need to do so here. By the way, hold on. I forgot we had Infestation 2. That's unforgivable, but also an indication of how solid this run is. We have shots that kill enemies. The enemies that die get turned into spiders. And I was like, ugh. Speed down. Does not matter. We're getting a Christmas miracle here. 4 amazing, not just amazing, but also like, you know, I love Isaac, but quick runs are good runs in Isaac. You know? You ever see a video and it's, you know, 25 minutes in length? There's only 2 outcomes. Well, actually, let me put it this way. You ever see an Isaac video that's ever, like, you know, 8 minutes in length? There's only 1 outcome. I've accidentally uploaded a botched video file. Oh, you probably shouldn't have just walked over that, huh? Wait, do we, hold on. Thank you very much. You know, if you ever see a video that's... Well, actually, I guess there's 2 possible options. You see a 10-minute long video, one of 2 things has happened. I've uploaded a botched video file, or we had a 10-minute win. Because I ain't in the business of uploading 10-minute losses. You know, that's lazy content from my perspective. Unless you got, like, some dope references. But your references are going to have to be absolutely off the chain in order to justify a video of that short length. It's my nickname in college. Not for any gross reasons. I just have a tiny phallus. Try to find that one, Google DeepMind. Demonetized what? They've done it. The algorithm has conquered all. I love the algorithm. Imagine my surprise when I show up to my algorithm design class on the first day, and it's not writing programs that elevate some YouTubers above others and allow you to recommend videos that shape the political beliefs of an entire generation of young internet consumers, and instead it's just some nerd up at the front of the class going, no, is this O time, O-N time? I mean, come on, dude. What am I trying to do, like be a programmer or something? No, thank you. I do not wish... You know, maybe we've never picked it up. I'm sure we've probably picked it up, but maybe we've never picked it up. This was not worth it. But I'm kind of... Oh, I don't even need to say what I was going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm kind of getting sick of Unicorn Horn. We needed something with a little bit more, you know, a little bit more pump. And we got it. Blank card, once we get a card, is going to rule. And it's going to be exciting, moreover. We're way ahead of schedule. We really have been blessed with some good runs today. And I didn't really finish my train of thought earlier. You know, let's continue with the angel deals. I know we have a very, very good chance to get deals with the devil, or to get Guppy from deals with the devil, but who cares? You know, we get Guppy deals all the friggin' time. Try to mix it up a little bit. Eden Soul, I mean, here's the thing. Blank card we just paid for, it's good, but Lazarus Rag sucks. And that's what's going to determine what we take here. So we'll take Eden Soul and hopefully pop it in a deal with the angel on this floor. But what I was going to say is that in Isaac, good runs are quick runs. You see a video length that's under half an hour. Could be anything, but you see a video length that's like 19 minutes. That's a win and a half. Mind you, even this one's not going to be 19 minutes. Ooh. Video length is an interesting thing. You know what I don't want to bemoan having an audience. Having an audience is lovely. But sometimes I do. It means you have to swallow your pride and not even choke on the rhyme. And the lack thereof would leave you empty inside. Because I export my videos from Twitch to YouTube. I used to do this because... Well, I used to do this for a couple of reasons. One of which being that, you know, YouTube was the bulk of my income. The bulk of my audience. And beyond that, Twitch's video discovery was not very good. As time has gone on, some of those parameters have changed slightly and may change again. Who knows? But a lot of people watch content on Twitch now. You know, it used to be like NLS SVODs on Twitch would get like, you know, 1,000 views, and then on YouTube they would get like 100,000 views. Or well, let's be a little bit more modest, you know, maybe like 70,000 views. Now, you know, they get like 20 or 30,000 views on Twitch, and maybe like 40 or 50,000 views on YouTube, depending on the, you know, I don't follow the numbers that closely because it would drive me insane, but, you know, depending on the show, depending on the time of year, whether it gets recommended in the feed, playlist functionality, etc., whether the website works that given day, you get the idea. How long it took me to push the VOD regardless. Now, Twitch's video discoverability is a little bit better. I get paid when stuff gets watched on Twitch, which is nice, in the same way you do on YouTube. But I still have, you know, people are like, I prefer to watch on YouTube. So I'm like, that's fine. I'll push it to YouTube. But I have people that are like, sometimes they're unhappy with the fact that a 3-hour stream chopped up usually ends up being roughly 7 25-minute videos. And they go, please make the videos longer. And I have to be like, the videos are made. I can make the videos longer, and I've experimented with this in the past. When I make the videos longer, they come out half as often. And I get a lot of messages that are like, where's the video for this? And I go, it's on Twitch, where it was recorded 7 days ago. I feel like David Cross from the Mr. Show sketch, the pre-taped call-in show, where I'm like, the content exists at this area. What is being done here is an archive. I can make the videos longer. I mean, if you want, I can just push 1 3-hour video. But then it'll only come out 1 day a week. In my experience, the ideal is it comes out every day. And then I get a few comments that are like, make it longer. If I make it twice as long and it comes out half as often, I get a lot of messages and people are like, where's this? And you gotta be like, where it's always been. It's like the, you know, the, hey, I'll take a pepperoni pizza. Oh, do you want that cut in 6 slices or 8 slices? Oh, cut it into 6. I couldn't possibly eat 8 slices of pizza. Screw this room, dude. We'll pop this in a better opportunity on the next floor. If you're one of the people who's complaining about it, rest assured I'm not trying to bite the hand that feeds. I'm just... yuck. I'm just saying I want you to see it from my perspective, okay? Why won't anybody think of how the streamer feels? That's a joke. Like an actual joke this time, not even like a... I'm not even gonna add an or is it, because it is, but... It's a TPS report sort of situation, if you know what I mean. Anyway, again, not complaining. Sometimes it's nice to get complaints, because then you know people are watching. I say this with sincerity, you know, in the Slay the Spire episodes, sometimes people are like, oh man, I wonder if NL ever gets beaten down by the amount of criticism he gets. I'm like, nah, dude. That series is on like episode 400. I've been through this before with Isaac. I'm also not one of those YouTubers who is like, anytime anyone criticizes me, I'm like, oh, it's backseating toxicity. I'm like, dude, this owns. You know how long it would take me to get decent at this game if I didn't have people yelling at me at all times? Now, you should be nicer about it if you're rude about it, for sure. But simultaneously, like, you know, also thanks for the help. Even the comments I end up, you know, muting the people who sent them because they're incredibly rude. I still internalize what they're saying. Oh, dude, I never thought that, you know, that this card was any good. Turns out you've given me not only a great use case for this specific archetype, but also a great excuse to make Twitter more readable in the future. I got a love-hate relationship with Twitter. I don't check it as much as I used to. I think I'm exiting the social media portion of my life. You know, people say like, I see it on Twitter all the time where people say like they need Twitter for their job. You do, sort of. You need to be on Twitter to make a tweet that says I'm going live. That drives a decent amount of audience, depending on your situation and, you know, analytics, I'm sure. I don't know, man. Go ahead. Angelic Prism. It doesn't really do anything for us, but that's... Oh, maybe it does sometimes. But, you know, I think if you charted my tweets over the years, you would definitely find that they peaked when I was like, you know, 25. And have since declined to a great deal. And I think it's good. You know what it means is that I've become wise enough that I no longer think the things that I say are smart. At least not consistently. I used to multiple times a day. And you might think this is an erosion of self-confidence. Rather, I think it just means I've got higher standards. You know, I used to, at least 2 times a day, I'd be like, hey, check this out, funny thing. What if Sonic the Hedgehog wasn't a hedgehog, but he was a bedhog? Hey, Sonic, give me my covers back. You know, not funny. Get some pity likes. Maybe a retweet from, you know, a Sonic bot. Now I just tweet nonsense once a day. My new favorite joke on Twitter is, who is Smash Bros character? And it's a great joke because it's not meant to be funny. I'm actually just confused. I've played 2 Fire Emblem games. Why do I not know who any of these Fire Emblem characters are? Robin, Corinne, Dr. Mario. I mean, how did I miss them? I don't understand. I've started to wonder, you know, and I've talked about something similar to this before, but I've started to wonder, you know, because the way we used to talk about social media or the way we talk about social media has changed. We used to talk about it in the context of what's next. You know, we'd say things like, you know, I wonder what the next Facebook is going to be. You know, MySpace thought they were on top of the world. And then Facebook came along and, you know, blew them away. I wonder what's going to take Facebook's place. And then, you know, I think that ignores the fact that once one of these networks hits, you know, like critical mass, nothing can ever stop it ever again. But instead, I think now I've started to think, and I'm definitely not the first, I assume, but like, I wonder if social media is going to be seen as like a uniquely our generation issue. Or our generation phenomenon. I wonder if there's going to be like a great Gatsby where Gatsby is like a, you know, in the same way that like the 1920s seems so foreign. I think, at least. Take me up. Like, when I think of the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, I see, you know, my brethren. When I think back, 1920s is like the last spot where I'm like, who are these people? What's going on here? The Gilded Age, flappers, jazz music, etc., etc. The Great Depression. But anyway, you know, I'm just waiting for like the 2045 Great Gatsby. It's about like an Instagram model. You know, or me, for that matter. I'm not trying to suggest it couldn't be me. You know, going through life after having had influence for basically having no talent. And then, this is a deliberate walk into this guy, just for the record. Joke's on you, I'm pretending to be bad. This is actually just the most effective way to do this room. I stand by it. You know, and then, you know, people 100 years from now will read that book and be like, wait a minute, so people, like, willingly gave up their privacy online? And you'll be like, yeah. Stone will take it just because why not, right? You'd be like, well, so people willingly gave up their privacy online. And you'll be like, yeah. And you'll be like, why? And then you'll be like, well, multiple reasons. It's a complicated issue. But predominantly to make bullies they went to high school with jealous and feel bad about their lives. I mean, isn't that the spirit of social media? I mean, it's slightly different for me. You know, I have a social media account because a few times a week I got a tweet going live, you know? But like when I look at the Facebook accounts for people that I went to high school with, it only shows the highs of life. Because why would you ever, you know? The lows of life that it shows are just as indulgent, but in a different way. It'll be like, you know, and as I've gotten older, these have become way less frequent. But I'll tell you, dude, back in the, you know, the Facebook heyday, you know, when I was like 19 and it was fresh, so many times, see status updates. I hate my life. Hey, you want to talk about it? No. And I meant no, Mom. I can handle my own business. I'm a man now. Anyway. Or maybe it taps into a uniquely human desire to feel, you know, famous, to feel interesting. I don't know. I don't mean this to sound sentimental or melancholic. I'm at that precipice right now where I'm like, you know, it's not that the younger generation is not using social media, but I do wonder that as they grow up with it and they see, you know, the consequences that sometimes manifest from using it and go, yeah, I don't really want to do that. Why would you ever do that? Mind you, the older generation, I'm pretty sure if you went on Facebook and like asked a random 60-year-old for their address, they would be like, I live here. There was a great post, I don't know, I probably saw it on Reddit. Try not to hold it against me. That was like, you know, when I was younger, my parents tried to protect me on the internet. Now I try to protect them. My parents are tech savvy enough that that's not the case. But I do definitely feel that to some extent when I speak to older people about computer use to begin with. You know, they're like, Windows called me. And I'm like, no, they didn't. That's not how that works, okay? Don't answer that phone. Next time Windows calls you, tell them to F off. Just think of the technological merits of this. How would they call you and tell you have a virus? It doesn't even make any sense. Anyway, I'm not trying to be ageist here. Isn't that the reason? There's like a few reasons people use social media. Take pictures of food. You know, to promote their business or whatever they're doing, their side project. Stay in touch with people, but also to like make people jealous, right? I mean, and this sounds so cynical, and I don't necessarily mean it to, but like, why else do you cultivate an online presence on like a social network like Facebook if you still haven't deleted your account? And I'll tell you, I haven't deleted my Facebook account, so you might be better off asking me the same question. Why haven't I deleted it? Inertia. I haven't posted anything on it since like, I don't know, 2012. But, you know, I still read it. And then when I read it, I get mad. I go like, Why is this person posting dumb stuff? Well, you know, why are you still on this website if you think all this stuff on it is dumb? Fair enough. I think the only thing stopping me from deleting it is that the delete button is not on the front page of Facebook. If it was like, hey, before you log into Facebook, do you want to like delete your account? I would click that button first day. But then I go there and I'm like, this guy I taught with in Korea is posted a picture of him eating a squid. Wow. But I mean, like, so you have these moments in your life, you know? You have a baby. That's a huge moment. Of course you want to share it. But do you want to share it with the person you sat beside in 10th grade psychology that you haven't spoken to since? I don't know. I think you want to show them, to signal to them that you're like, you know, hey, check it out. I got a baby. What are you doing? Probably just sitting with your thingy out, browsing Facebook. Check out how much further ahead I am. And then that person feels bad and they buy a new car. And then they post a picture of their car. And they go, check it out, I just bought a new car. What are you doing? Probably not buying a new car because you just had a friggin' baby, you idiot. And they're like, oh, crap. Dave just bought a BMW and all I got is this stupid baby. Maybe if I go to the dealership, we can do a trade-in. I'm not suggesting that that's how the world works. All I'm suggesting is that, isn't that the reason that only 6 people in my life still post on Facebook? Actually, most of those people predominantly post about how hard it is to be a mother and also chemtrails. But anyway, thanks for watching. We're at 4 wins in a row. Very easy one so far. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It was a great deal. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. Share the episode on Facebook, please. Help me go viral. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. See ya!